Alright, it is so dark and not able to see me, but it's egg retrieval day. Where is this so crazy?
Oh, jeez.
I slept like surprisingly well. Like I was not, like usually when something's coming up the next morning or we have something early, I like am stressed out during my sleep or like anxious or whatever, but I slept so good. However, I was like chugging water in the couple hours preceding going to bed, so I had to wake up and pee like quite a few times, but I surprisingly just got back into bed and went right to sleep. Like I didn't stay up.
That's good.
I don't know if I just like knew that I needed to sleep or what. We got up at like 5:45 this morning and got ready. I actually put on like kind of a little outfit. I put on a little bit of makeup. I just didn't want to feel like kind of as gross as I felt the last couple days. And we're half an hour early. We're almost about to be there, so we're definitely ahead of schedule. I just obviously didn't want to like be rushed or like stressed out from being late or anything, but I'm feeling totally okay about it. Like I'm really not freaking out. I mean, maybe I will when the time gets closer, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. Wow, look how pretty it is out there.
Wow.
How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Not like very good?
I'm very good.
Okay.
Excellent service here.
That was easy. We're in this little like secret waiting room and we have to call to let them know we're here. That's so funny. All right, here's my outfit I'm gonna be getting dressed into. All right, I'm all suited up, hairnet, good to go. And of course, the super cute socks. This is a nice pack.
All right, same.
Okay, I'm awake now. I did a great job. That's what they said. I'm just saying what they said.
Thumbs up. Okay.
Okay, I'm still a little drowsy and my allergies are like kicking in. I don't know though, because they said the anesthesia can make you a little mucusy. So I don't know if this is my allergies or the anesthesia, but we're out of the procedure. Oh, I'm so sleepy. They said it took me a long, well, they told me this after the fact, obviously. Well, I guess I'll start from the beginning. Ken's running into the pharmacy to get my fresh transfer meds, but I went into the room like an hour early and, you know, got all changed into the, you know, little robe and the hairnet, and I looked really cute. I could put pictures of what I looked like. Oh, I think I filmed. And then they put the IV in, gave me kind of like the lowdown on what to expect of the procedure and how it's gonna go with anesthesia. For some reason I thought they were gonna do like that mask that makes you fall asleep, but the anesthesia was just in my IV, so it wasn't too bad. But for some reason they said I took a long time to fall asleep, which I guess I'm not exactly sure why, because when I was laying there though, I was extremely, like, I could feel my heart racing. I felt like my heart rate was like at 1,000,000. I think she said it was at like 120 or 140, which is like as high as it gets when I'm like working out. It gets up to like 180 when I work out, so my heart was like racing and I could feel it, and I was just getting really anxious because like they have your legs in the stirrups. They put these like warm pillowcases basically on your legs before they put them in the stirrups, and that felt really good. And then they had, you know, the stickers with the heart monitor. They have the IV, and then they put the oxygen, you know, just in your nose and around your ears, and then they like tuck a blanket around you, so you're kind of in like a straight jacket with your legs up and all kinds of stuff on your face. I had to keep my mask on, which obviously didn't bother me, but I thought that was funny that even during COVID, during like a surgery during COVID, the patient still has to keep their mask on, even though I got a COVID test and tested negative. But I think they said it went really good. I think it took a little longer than usual. I think because A, the doctor was a tiny bit late, and B, I took a while to fall asleep, they said, which I think is kind of funny. And because they said they were gonna get Ken at like 8, and I think they got him closer, or no, they said they were gonna get Ken at 8:30, and they got him a little bit closer to 9, because I remember I was laying in like the recovery room and I woke up and the nurse was there, and like the second I opened my eyes, I feel like she like popped up. She's like, "Shannon," and I was like, "Hello." Like she must have been staring at me or something. And as soon as I woke up, they went and got Ken. I was like super drowsy when I first woke up. I was like, my eyes were like barely opening. I was like, what's going on? I was probably like a little bit loopy. For whatever reason, the first thing I did was grab my nose ring from the table beside me and put it in. And I like, even right now I can tell, like, I was still like half asleep when I was putting my nose ring in, but for some reason that was the most important thing that I feel like I needed to do, which is so bizarre. But then the nurse came in, she said it all went really good, and then the actual doctor came in and she said we got 10 eggs, which is, I guess, like pretty much average. Like, it's not a ton, but it's not low. It's just like a pretty like good solid amount. I had 14 follicles, but she said a couple of them on the right like didn't actually have an egg in them. They just kind of like developed. But I guess, of course, like when you're stimulating, I guess you can't expect every single one to have an egg in it. So 10 is pretty good, and she said you can generally hope for like around half of them to fertilize. So we're hoping for like 5 at least, like hopefully maybe more. And it was cool that they were able to tell me like right away how many eggs we got. That was cool. They're gonna obviously fertilize them with ICSI today, and then they'll be able to tell me tomorrow how many fertilized, and then I think because today's Monday, so Tuesday they'll call me with how many fertilized, and then I think Wednesday, or no, I'm sorry, Thursday, so every other day. So today's day 0, day 1 they'll call me with how many fertilized, since they're gonna fertilize them today, and then on Thursday, 2 days later, they'll like give an update on like, I guess, the quality, or if any additional ones fertilized, more, because like they might not all immediately fertilize today, so maybe more will fertilize by Thursday, and then Saturday I should have my fresh transfer. That's super, super exciting. We went over all the different medications. I have to get 2 Hcg shots. It's so funny, she literally took a Sharpie and drew like a little half circle where Ken should do the shots, and she even did a little squiggle line over my veins. He doesn't like shoot me in a vein, which I thought was funny. So I have like Sharpie all over my legs right now. And then I'm gonna have to take the vaginal progesterone once in the morning, once at night, and then I have to wear an estrogen patch all the time, but switch it out every 3 days. But it's crazy, she said like it's really important that you stick exactly to this, because you will not be able to sustain the pregnancy if you don't, which is really kind of scary. So it's like, oh my gosh, you have to like be on top of it, pay really close attention, which of course we already are like in the routine of being really regimented about the medication since we did the stimulation, and that also was like very time specific and day specific and all that. So I think we're gonna have no problem staying on top of that, but it's kind of high stakes now. But once Ken came in, they gave him kind of a rundown on everything, and they gave me some Diet Coke and some Cheez-Its. I think when I first woke up, I like reached for the Coke and like spilled it. I think I was definitely a little bit out of it, and I'm still just like super drowsy and sleepy, like my eyes just don't want to open. I think I will definitely take a nap later. And they said it just to like take it really easy. The anesthesiologist was like, okay, I'm gonna tell your husband he needs to like wait on you hand and foot today. I'm like, okay, definitely do that. She's like, and I'll also tell him he needs to do so for the next 365 days. I'm like, okay, if you do that, that'd be great. I'll just tell him doctor's orders. You gotta do as I say for the next year. So it was pretty funny that she kind of made a joke of it, but Ken's been really great and really supportive and taking care of me. And whenever they rolled me, like once I was done, they got me dressed, or I got myself dressed. I went to the bathroom and then got dressed, because they were actually hydrating me through my IV, which I didn't realize. So they had like rehydrated me, you know, throughout the whole process, so I was not like as dehydrated, because I obviously hadn't drank or ate anything all morning. So I was just like nice and rehydrated. And then I got dressed, they put me in a wheelchair and they wheeled me all the way out to the car, which was really, really nice, which I appreciate, because I was like, I'm not really trying to walk. But actually, in terms, speaking of that, in terms of my discomfort, I feel totally fine. I think they gave me, what is it called, Taurin, or maybe it starts with an F. They gave me some pretty intense painkiller, which Ken said is like the painkiller everyone's trying to get their hands on nowadays. But I really don't feel fine. Like, I mean, I really don't feel bad. Like, even when I woke up, I was like, I feel fine. And even right now, like, there's a little bit of discomfort and like kind of a crampy feeling, but it feels fine. But again, I'm on some kind of crazy painkiller, so it might not stay that way. They said I can take ibuprofen today, but then after today I have to stick strictly to Tylenol. No more ibuprofen after today. And then I don't start any of my fresh transfer meds until Wednesday. So basically today and tomorrow I'm off the hook, and then I start the Hcg shot, the patch, and the vaginal progesterone all on Wednesday, and then I continue that for who knows how long, honestly. That's gonna be like a daily thing for the indefinite future. But it was really funny. The nurse, like the main nurse was obviously a nurse and anesthesiologist, and then the actual doctor, but the nurse was so sweet, and she said she did IVF like I think 12 years ago or something like that, and she did it at the same clinic that I'm going to, and ended up obviously becoming an IVF nurse. But she had twins, and then as soon as she, oh nice, how'd it go?
it was cheaper, but I read off everything to her and she looked at each thing and she confirmed it.
Okay. Oh, that's a lot cheaper. Okay. I was just finishing up the story. So the nurse did IVF at the same clinic, had twins, and then she said she got pregnant naturally. She had male factor infertility. Well, they had male factor infertility, which is obviously the same problem as us. She said they got pregnant 8 months after they had the twins naturally, and obviously they hadn't gotten pregnant naturally obviously the whole time leading up to IVF. So then that's all the kids they had. They just did the one like IVF transfer with 2 embryos, and then she had twins, and then she got pregnant naturally. So she's like, be careful, you guys could like definitely just get pregnant naturally like anytime now. She said what, your cervix is more open, so
yeah,
it's easier
like
to get pregnant after the fact. So I thought that was funny because he and I say all the time, like, we could definitely naturally get pregnant, like the odds are just so slim, but like over our lifetime, like we could definitely get pregnant naturally. So she was like, be careful, like you might get pregnant like way faster and easier than you think that you have in the past, or than you think you can. She ended up having a lot of kids in a very short period of time. She was just telling me all about her experience. And so it's cool, like our pharmacist and my nurse have all gone through IVF at the same clinic, like had the exact same experience and everything. So it's really always easy to hear, or it's always nice to hear the different
person backing
anecdotes. Oh, I can't stand that. And it's cool. She said it worked on her first transfer.
Oh yeah?
Both of them. So that's, and she was 28 too. She was the exact same age and everything.
Wow.
So I love hearing like these success stories. So anyway, went really good. We got the medication. Now we're off to get a hot Krispy Kreme donut. Fentanyl. That is the medicine that they gave me. That's that good stuff. But she said I have to like take it easy today, aka just sit and watch Hallmark movies, which I can do, and I cannot work out. She said I like can't work out for like 4 more weeks.
I think it's while they are trying to make sure the egg takes, you are not to do anything.
Yeah, because you can get, oh, she called it ovarian torsion. I think that was the word I was thinking of. Like my ovaries can get like twisted. So I can't work out now, and then I can't work out after the transfer. So I think I have another like couple weeks of not being able to work out, which I kind of thought I was going to be able to work out sooner. But that's okay. Got our Krispy Kreme, and they're not even hot, but that's okay.
Thank you.
Ken's so cute, and he put on Christmas music on the way here and on the way home because he doesn't even really like Christmas music that much because he's kind of a Scrooge. But he put on just for me, and that's so sweet, honey.
Oh, I said.
Alright, we got all the post-op treats. Bacon, egg, and cheese on an everything bagel. An Asiago bagel with sky and cream cheese. Oh my gosh, yum. And Krispy Kreme. Oh, and we got Starbucks too. All right, good morning. It is the day after egg retrieval, and actually Vlogmas starts today. It's December 1st, so I actually need to start filming for the vlog, but I just wanted to do kind of like a one more little update clip because I feel like I didn't film anything pretty much, I don't think, after we got home yesterday, as far as I remember. But it went super, super well. I actually have to go watch that clip that Ken took of me because I haven't even looked at that. But everything went super, super well. So obviously it's been almost exactly like to the minute 24 hours since I got out of my retrieval, and it was such a seamless, easy process. I was apparently the only egg retrieval all day yesterday, so it was kind of nice because I was the first person in, and Ken could wait in like their special like waiting room. Like the whole time it was like, you know, had couches and all kinds of stuff. I had to like take out my nose ring, which was the weirdest thing. I like never take that out. It's just kind of like a bummy just being back there getting all prepped, and you have like an hour before the actual surgery, so you just spend a lot of time just kind of sitting there. And so I was doing a lot of praying. I was so nervous. She took my vitals, like my blood pressure, my heart rate and all that. She's like, oh girl, you are nervous. And I was like, what gave it away? Because I don't think I was like acting nervous, but obviously my body kind of gave it away for me. As I was super apprehensive. I didn't realize that the anesthesia for this procedure is like, I guess, real general anesthesia. The only other time I've ever been under was for my wisdom teeth surgery removal, and apparently that's like you're not really all the way under, which I think is totally true because I remember like hearing things and kind of like experiencing things in my wisdom teeth surgery. So I didn't realize like I really had never had this kind of anesthesia, and so it made me like a little bit more nervous because of course like you can never know for sure how your body's gonna handle it or react to it until after you're under it, you know what I mean? It's just kind of crazy because I've never experienced anything like that. Like I'm on the, you know, stretcher or the bed, whatever, and they like roll you into the operating room, and then everyone kind of swarms you, and they're getting you hooked up to everything, and they're talking to you, and they're tucking you in, and they're like talking to each other as if it's like an oil change. They're like shouting out like numbers and information and all kinds of stuff. It was a pretty crazy experience. I've just never done anything like that. Like you see it on like My 600 Pound Life and all kinds of stuff, but to actually be in it is a whole nother experience. And then I feel like the trippiest part for me and what I was the most nervous about was just like the anesthesia, obviously, and like knowing that like, okay, they're just gonna knock me out at any moment, and I don't really know like when or how it's gonna happen. And it's like I said, it just went through the IV, so the last thing I remember them saying is like, okay, you're gonna start getting sleepy now, and then that's all I remember. I just love my team there. They are so amazing and so sweet, and everyone is just, I really like can't say enough good things about my whole team at my fertility clinic, and honestly my whole experience in general, because the surgery went fine. I mean, obviously you go to sleep, I keep saying surgery, procedure, you know, whatever, they're not cutting me open, they get the eggs out with a ultrasound probe, and it's just, you know, transvaginally, so you know, there's no stitches or anything, thank goodness. But I obviously fall asleep, and then to me, like a second later I'm waking up and I'm back in the recovery room out of the operating room. And I think Ken was getting a little nervous because they didn't go get him till like 9, and they told him that they would probably come get him closer to like 8:30, because the procedure is supposed to only take 20 or 30 minutes. But I guess since I took longer to fall asleep, and maybe I took a little bit longer to wake up, I'm not sure, so they didn't get him till like a half hour later, and I guess he was getting a little bit nervous. But it's really nice that they allow someone to be in recovery with you, so you're not just like sitting there waking up like what the heck is going on by yourself. I definitely know I was pretty loopy waking up out of the anesthesia. Ken said I like asked him the same question so many times, and it was like a little while later, like a couple hours, maybe like 6-7 hours, I started like getting pretty uncomfortable. Like it was just kind of painful and uncomfortable when I moved, but like just sitting there, it didn't really bother me too much, but like it definitely felt a little uncomfortable and like a tiny bit painful. I didn't have to take any more like ibuprofen or Tylenol or anything like that. I haven't taken anything since, and this morning I feel great. Like I can definitely still feel like something happened, but I feel totally fine, and I don't have any, I feel like a lot of the other experiences I've watched, I've seen like a ton of bloating and weight gain and all kinds of stuff, and I don't have any of that. I don't have any bloating. I gained maybe like a pound. I have a tiny bit of bloating, but like nothing more than like a normal period, like nothing crazy. So I'm not sure if just my experience is different because of the different drugs I was on, or how they do things, or exactly what, but it went super well. Like it was way more chill than I expected it to be, and if I would have known in advance how it was gonna go, I think I probably would not have been nervous at all. Like I think if I had to go do it again today, like I think I would just show up and it would be no problem. Kind of like I was saying, I think yesterday or the day before, whenever I did all those kind of my simulation experience, or maybe I put that in a different video, so if I did, I'll link that video to this one. But kind of like I said the other day, like I think it's a little bit more hyped up in your head how it's gonna go, and I think everyone's experience is just so individual, but like personally my experience has been so incredibly amazing, and I can like truly say, like for me, like IVF, at least so far, just hasn't been that big of a deal. Like everything went really according to schedule, and all, you know, without a hitch and no complications, and thank God for all of those things. I was praying like crazy. We should be getting a phone call today with how many of them fertilized, which is kind of nerve-wracking, and we're definitely like highly anticipating that call, aren't we, honey?
Yes.
Are you nervous? Thank you so much. I'm not like nervous, I'm excited. Nervous excitement?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. He just delivered me my coffee in my Santa mug. We're doing ICSI fertilization, so obviously we're hoping and praying that like as many as humanly possible fertilize. So hopefully they're, you know, fertilizing well and they were good quality eggs. So we'll find out today how many of them are fertilizing, and then of course you can't know for sure that all of them that fertilize are gonna be like viable blastocysts. So we're gonna get a lot of updated information over the next couple of days, but of course we're like super hopeful and excited and like really feeling positive about the whole thing. So that's the situation. I did not need any shots yesterday, and I do not need any shots or any medication today. I start everything back up tomorrow, so we kind of have like 2 days off where we're like, we don't really need to, I mean, we didn't have a day off yesterday. I had like a procedure yesterday, but today we have like a full day, like normal day of life. Yeah, that is the current situation. It was really like not as bad. Not that I thought it was gonna be bad, but it was really like no big deal at all. I feel like the scary parts are behind us, all the shots and the procedure and all that, and now it's just kind of hoping and praying for the news about the potential embryos, and then obviously starting this new medication and getting the transfer done and all that kind of stuff. So that's where we're at, and we're so excited. I will definitely provide an update once we get a call about the fertilization. Tell the great news, honey. Or do you want me to tell it?
You tell me.
Okay. Do you want to give your reaction? Okay. So exciting news. We just got a call. Oh, the noise is probably annoying. Ken's making bread. We just got a call from a nurse at the fertility clinic, and of our 10 eggs that they retrieved yesterday, 8 of them are fertilized and dividing normally, which is pretty freaking huge, like really huge. Like even the nurse said that's a really, really good number. So of course, like that number could definitely drop off over the next couple of days if some of them, you know, don't continue to divide, don't continue to grow, if, you know, they're chromosomally abnormal or anything. But just starting with 8 is a really, really amazing number. Obviously we can hope and pray that they all continue to fertilize, but you know, even if, you know, a couple more fall off, it's just a really good starting point. So we are so over the moon about that news. Ken just like lost it immediately. He was like, at first he was just like tearing, and then he like went into his office and I just heard him like lose it completely. So I ran in there and he was just like crying like tears of joy. He was like feeling so relieved that, not that we like finally got good news, because like throughout this process we have gotten good news. All right, hopefully that's less noisy in here. He was just feeling so relieved and just like so thankful that, you know, the sperm did their job and, you know, made their way in, and that we are getting some good news. Any like good news is just such a relief, especially like when you've gone through this whole process and now it's just like what's gonna happen. So we are so thrilled, and he just lost his marbles. He's so much more emotional than me. He's definitely become more emotional. I think like just the fertility stuff hits him a little differently than me, because I didn't like start crying. Like I don't really get happy tears a lot. Like I don't really cry when I'm happy. I just like get so excited. Like as you can probably tell, I just get really happy and really excited. I don't typically like cry, but he just had like such like a flood of tears of relief, and it was really adorable. And then I called my mom, I FaceTimed her, and she started crying when I told her. And then I called my dad, because I haven't actually even talked to him since the procedure yesterday. So he was really excited and really thrilled as well. My mom was saying like she's been praying so hard. She has all her like ladies at home in her women's group, like Bible study group, praying for us. So it's so sweet to know that we have so many people thinking of us. It means a lot, and it seems like it's working. I mean, I've been praying like crazy too. So we are so relieved. As soon as I heard the phone ringing, my heart just started beating like a million miles a minute. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is probably gonna be them. I don't get a lot of phone calls, and it was. And thankfully Ken like wasn't on a call or anything. He like came running out to listen. I just feel like it's better for us to get the news together rather than me having to like relay it to him. I feel like getting it like raw and kind of like the same moment as me is really nice, but obviously sometimes he's on calls or he's working or whatever. That is the update. I'm so excited. Are you excited too, Nalago? Oh, why are you looking at me like that? That's what's been happening over the last like half hour. Just been on the phone and being excited. Okay, a little IVF update. I know I look a hot mess. It's December 3rd. I just got out of the shower and I need to get ready and stuff, but I wanted to just get this clip filmed really quick. So I started my estrogen patch and the vaginal progesterone yesterday. The estrogen patch, I think it's like close enough to being in the right spot, but I've seen like multiple different placements for it. Like a lot of them just say like kind of your lower abdomen, like basically where you do your injections. And then some of my paperwork I got from like my clinic said to do it closer to like your panty line, so a little bit lower than that. So I did it kind of in between. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I think it's like close enough. Obviously the nurse said it's fine, but I had some mixed information on that. It's kind of crazy though. Like I just took a shower, it stays on. I obviously slept, wore like leggings and all kinds of stuff, and it stays put, which is kind of crazy. You would think that like a sticker on your body wouldn't be so secure, but it is. And then I took the vaginal progesterone last night, which is so weird. It's like they basically give you almost like a tampon applicator, and then you stick a pill, like it literally looks like a pill that you would swallow in it, and then you stick it in and like shoot the pill in. It's kind of crazy, and you have to stay laying down afterwards for at least 15 minutes, but I just did it right before bed, so I just stayed laying down all night, obviously. Definitely some discharge going on this morning, which is totally normal. And then I took my morning version, but I was laying on the couch, and I think I was in a weird position, and I don't usually, like, obviously I don't put my tampons in laying down or anything, so I definitely, like, scratched the inside of my vagina. It's like, there was blood, like, not a lot, just like a little bit, and it hurt a lot. But then when I put it in the right placement, it didn't hurt at all. So I definitely messed it up a little bit this morning. And then I like grabbed the pill because I injected it in like the wrong place, and it just like had already kind of started melting. So I put it back in and quickly like put it in the right place, and it definitely went in the right area this time. But it definitely hurt. It was bleeding a little bit. Ugh, it was not comfortable. So I think from now on I'm gonna just stay standing and then lay down afterwards. That hurt. It's still kind of hurting. So I hope I didn't do like any significant damage, but I actually have to take my first one of only 2 progesterone, or no, Hcg Shots, which is like in your like side butt muscle. So I'm really not looking forward to that, but that's gonna be today. We're not exactly sure exactly when we're supposed to do it. They say you can do it whenever, but I kind of wish someone would just tell me when. So that is going to be today, so I'll probably provide a little bit of an update after that, but that's where we're at. And we actually also, I got a call this morning at like 8:30 in the morning while I was still on my walk, and they said all 8 of our eggs are still growing and doing so well, which I was so relieved to hear. She said they all look really good. There's some that are like a little bit more developed than others, but overall they're all doing really well, and they're really not gonna like check on them at all like, going forward. Like we have my transfer in a day and a half from now, so they'll have definitely one like ready by then, and then they typically keep the rest of them, I guess, growing like 1 additional day before they freeze them. So like whatever they implanted me will be a day 5, but they don't freeze them until day 6 is my understanding. She said they all have potential, they all look good. They'll get a better idea of like the quality and all that kind of stuff over the next couple of days, and still like before, some could definitely drop off and not continue to grow, but she said they all have potential. There's like very little fragmentation, there's little to no fragmentation, and they're all dividing really well, so they look like they're doing so good so far. So we are super excited and encouraged by that news. I mean, we would be happy with like 5, or you know, whatever we can get we will be happy with. The fact that all 8 are still doing really well is very encouraging. So we basically won't get an update at all until we go in for my transfer, and then they will probably be able to tell us a little bit more by then, but we're not going to get a call tomorrow, and then we have to be there at like 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. So that is the embryo situation. It's looking really good, and we are super excited and encouraged, and we can't wait.
Into the bottle of powder.
He's getting ready to mix up my Hcg shots.
Draw 1 ml of the diluted powder.
It should be our last couple shots for a while.
And inject, okay.
Got some solution here. Got some needles and syringes. He said this should be no problem. Says the guy who doesn't have to actually take it, but he has to administer it, which is still its own thing, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I've had enough shots at this point. This is the first intramuscular one though, like, so it's different than anything else we've done.
Yeah.
But only this and then 1 more. In like not until like 3 more days from now, so I should be fine, hopefully. He's hard at work. You're out of practice with all the administering of drugs, huh? Yeah. A little rusty. Okay, that was a very frustrating experience because the paperwork they gave us was, I'll take my glasses off because of the glare, was not like correct in a lot of ways. It said to mix 2 milliliters with the powder of the Pregnol, and then withdraw 1 milliliter so that there's 3 milliliters left. But that obviously doesn't make sense because you only put 2 milliliters in to start with, and if you withdraw 1, you only have 1 left, not 3. So we were like super confused about that because we were like, okay, are we supposed to put in 5? Because if you don't, then you put less, then it's obviously way more concentrated, and so are we gonna be doing too much? And then on top of that, so that was the main thing that we noticed, and then on top of that, it said to give me 1 milliliter like dose, but it said on my protocol 1 milliliter is 5,000 units. The whole entire thing has 10,000 units. If you put 2 milliliters, so half of that would be 5,000, but my dose says to only do 2,500, which would be half of a milliliter. So that was confusing too. It's like, so do we do 1? Do we do half? Do we mix 4 units? Do we mix... Really so funny. He brings down his little sloth toy as if it's like, you know, his kill or something, and offers it like to us. He's so cute, Will. Ken gets really stressed out about that kind of stuff when he like can't understand it, and obviously he's the one that's administering it, and thank goodness that he like read really closely and carefully and caught all those discrepancies. So we called the pharmacy and talked to the pharmacist. So the pharmacist was like kind of helpful, but obviously she's not the one that like is prescribing me this stuff. So then I called my IVF nurse, and I just called the office, and I was like, my IVF nurse needs to call me back immediately because I don't know, do I take 1 milliliter? Do I take half? Do we mix more or less? So then she pulled up what I was looking at. She's like, oh my gosh, like all of this is wrong. And I was like, yeah, like there's just a lot of things that don't make sense. And she said that, I guess, whatever, the prescription used to come in a bigger amount, so they updated like kind of half of that paper but not the other half, which is like why it didn't make any sense. So she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you like read that, because he was gonna give me double the dose. He was gonna give me 5,000 units because it said 1 milliliter, but really I was supposed to only get 2,500. So I don't know like what that would have done. Like, would that have been a huge problem? Would it have been no big deal? Like, it's double, so it seems like it would be a big deal. So I have no idea. So we got that figured out. It took like an hour. It was also really confusing to figure out where to put it, because like the picture, like what the nurse drew on me after my egg retrieval was completely different than the instructions in like the guide from the doctor. So, I mean, I think it's more like the difference was like a couple inches, like maybe 2 inches, 1.5 inches. It wasn't very much. So I doubt the efficacy is any different between, you know, like a couple inches. I think it's more about like my comfort than how effective it's gonna be, like 1.5 inches apart. So hopefully it should be fine. It was intramuscular though, so it did kind of hurt a little bit more. I mean, it feels fine now. It just hurt when it was going in, but oh, 1 down, only 1 to go. And then hopefully no more shots for a long time or ever.